So if you are unalignable and you use that platform, please reach out to me because we have a lot of free events that are going to be coming up on that. The other thing is if you are an author, you may want to be a part of Authors HQ. We are doing the Pinned Prosperity series, and you will be able to see that on Alignable. It's only for Alignable. Also, for those of you who may know Tom Gay, I am also an affiliate and a partner with him in Engage Pro. This is how we do follow-up and keep it easy for solopreneurs. And just like anything, a rising tide raises all ships. I just wanted to let you know, thank you to these people: Laura Cross, Tom Gay, Brad Berkowitz, Jeff Bourgeois, and of course, Matt Roseman. All of you have referred people to my Open Friday coffee that were in need of the services I offer, and I just wanted to say thank you. So I've been doing this for a while. I've been teaching money principles since about 2005. And this is the scary part. I've been in broadcasting and radio since 1982. And I actually had a person say to me yesterday, oh my God, that was before I was born. So I now know I'm kind of cranking up on the age factor. I've written 18 books. And the one that's most recent is Published Profitability for Authors. But the one that you may be interested in as a business owner is The Thriving Solopreneur. That may be the one that is best for you. I'm also a shaman. I was struck by lightning when I was in middle school, but that's another discussion. These are some of the platforms I've been lucky enough to be a part of, and I didn't make it onto the Oprah Winfrey Show. I got interviewed, we were all set up, but it ended up not happening, and that was back in 2008. And so I always honor Oprah Winfrey, but I do want to be clear about that. I never made it on the show. Okay. So this is my book, Ditch Your Debt While Banking Bucks. Okay, for my dear friend Nancy out there, you were asking me about the 60/40 principle. Remember that I have a free book and I have a free online course for Ditch Your Debt While Banking Bucks. You guys can put that in the chat for me, please. This is the flow of money: living, saving, and giving. If you do not put money in all three of these categories on your current income, then it will stop the flow of money. This is something I started teaching back in, 1997, 1998. And it's one of those things that now we have the law of abundance, Abraham Hicks, The Secret, all this stuff has come out since then. I stopped teaching money. I was like, okay, people got it. I'm good. This is good stuff. But this was what I was teaching before people knew about the law of abundance. This is the 60/40 principle. And Nancy, what you were talking to me about was philanthropy versus spiritual. If you don't have a spiritual organization that you belong to or religion with that 10%, what do you do? And what I wanted to share with you is what you do with that is you donate it to an organization that is doing good works that's in alignment with your moral compass. Okay. All right. If you would like more tips, go on to my YouTube channel, and I have 3-Minute Money Tips by Janine Boland. This was a podcast that I ran for several years before we syndicated. When we got syndicated, we moved on to radio again, and so that's why there's only a few things on YouTube. Interesting. Why is it doing that? It skipped a slide. Okay. So the 4-hour-a-week system is something I teach with the Thriving Solopreneur. One of the areas that is very important is that you have 4 hours a week that you do as a solopreneur that is working on your business, not in your business. Now you hear that all the time. And 1 hour a week, you're prospecting. That's where you're on the phone, you're calling people, you're asking them what's going on. The second hour a week, you're doing follow-up. And that's where Engage Pro, that software is so helpful. It helps remind you who you need to follow up with. You're doing it through email. You're doing it through phone calls, texts, as well as cards. Direct mail is one of the most underused systems for follow-up, and I can talk to you a little bit about that. Then you spend an hour a week networking. Okay, now you're on this networking call, but we're not really a networking call. It's more my open office hours. So find a networking group that you really like and then stick with them. Make sure you show up every week. Spend that week getting to know everybody there until you don't have anybody else left to introduce yourself to. And don't forget, as a solopreneur, you need an hour a week where you are training yourself. I still take courses. I'm still learning how to run my business more efficiently and better. And so you want to take an hour doing that. Your critical 4 hours, I've summed up here in a sheet that you can download. So Sean, if you'd be kind enough to drop that in the chat. This is something, it's just a Google Doc. Go to the Google Doc. If you want to keep it in your drive, make a copy of it, but also download it so you can print it off as a PDF. It makes it really easy for you. The best thing that I can ask solopreneur or business owners is, are you tracking your progress? What are your income producing activities? So many of the people who come to me are not getting the revenue they need to live, that their business is not doing well. And so what I encourage you to do is, what is your income producing activities? Those should be the first things that you do. Do not get dragged into social media. Do not get dragged into 5 or 6 networking events a week. You want to take the time to sit there and say, okay, what are my income producing activities? And then you want to move forward with that. And we can talk about that later. You're welcome to show up to the next Open Friday coffee. I'll be glad to describe that. This is the Thriving Solopreneur. I offer the book from my website for only $10. You're welcome to buy it off of Amazon, but Sean's going to put in the chat where you can buy it from me for shipping, which is about $9 to have it printed and shipped to you. And that will get you started on the 4-hour-a-week system. It's a quick read. It's only 100 pages, but I guarantee you it's packed with a lot of systems that I've learned over the last 50 years that I have been in business. This is the podcast, Janine Boland, the Thriving Solopreneur, also a podcast I ran for years before we got syndicated. And Sean, if you'd be kind enough to pop in the chat the link to the YouTube channel so you can see the playlist. Now, I was talking about how direct mail is one of the least used forms of follow-up, and that's just sending cards. People who know me have seen my cards, they like my cards. They look forward to my cards. I have people who move and they will tell me before their family that they are getting ready to move, and they want to give me that address so they keep getting my cards. That's how addicted people get to having good mail. And we'll talk about how you do that. Something about send out cards is very different. People say, okay, well, I'm just going to write a handwritten card, blah, blah, blah. Well, I did that too for years. But when it got to where it was taking me 6 hours on Friday to follow up and write cards to all the people I cared about, I had to find a different system. And that's when I found Send Out Cards. Please sign up for free. This is not going to put you on a list. I'm not going to hammer at you. You're probably going to hear from me maybe once a month, but sign up and get a card that is your on mute card. We use them all the time here at Open Friday Coffee. We have a lot of fun with them. People see who can get their sign up first when people are on mute. You would think after 4 years of being on Zoom, people would know, and no, they still need reminders that they're on mute. So that's one of the fun things with that. When you go, you're going to get a form, and this is what it's going to look like. You're going to see the people that have the card. There you go. There's the form. And then you're going to see all the lovely people that have asked me for a "you're on mute" card from all over the world. This is what happens when you have direct mail. Then people start posting on social media about you. They start giving you free advertising. Like, look what I got from Janine Boland. It's the best thing ever. I can't believe I got this. She really cares about me. And as a business owner, you really want to do something like this. Why? Because as a business owner, 67% of clients that walk away from your business think it's because you don't care. And this is something that I use to show them, oh, I do care. I know how much energy and effort I put into making sure you could be a part of my life. So, all right. So we talked about writing by hand and how that's very extensive. And this is what I enjoy doing. I send cards where I've drawn crazy pictures. My cards are not professional in the sense of looking really uptight. My cards are very goofy, like I am. And I send those cards. So in the chat, Sean is going to put a link where you can send a card on me for free. Now they're going to ask you for your phone number. Don't panic. The reason they're asking for a phone number is so that you don't have to go through the 4 screens to set up an account. It's a quick way to zip you in to send out cards, okay? And anyway, send a card on me for free and see the system. It's printed for you, it's addressed for you, it's stamped for you. Everything is done for you. All you have to do is put the content in the card. People really love cards. All right, last thing. If you are in Denver, Colorado, I really encourage you, and if you are struggling, if you are not making $100,000 a year yet in your business, this is my coach that I had from 2016 to 2019. This is Gary Barnes. He is running a boot camp in September. I am speaking at the boot camp. I'm very excited. I'll be talking about the $100,000 blueprint that we use. And we will take you from where you are now, and we will walk you through a path on what you do to get that $100,000 blueprint. It is an in-person event. And I used to be his virtual person that I would help do the virtual work, but if I'm on stage, I can't be helping do the virtual work. So we're just making it in person this year. Also, I have a free $47 workshop. So Sean, if you would put that in the chat, the Thursday before the boot camp, I'm charging $47 so that you guys can get my book, Stitch Your Debt, Thriving Solopreneur, in your hand, hard copies. And then for 4 hours, I'm doing a workshop on the $100,000 blueprint. So if you can't make it to the 3-day boot camp, definitely come to the Thursday workshop so we can at least do that. And $47 covers the cost of the books and the room. Okay, so I'm doing this for you guys at cost. So if you are in Colorado, please join us on September 19th. Okay, it's all about transforming your business in 4 hours a week. That is where I talk to people the most. Also, we just got Tom Gay on for Sales Success for Solopreneurs. I'm so excited to have him on the Janine Boland Show. And so, guys, if you would put that in the chat, this is the link that you can go to listen. If you would like to be a guest on the Janine Boland Show, please realize we are a broadcasting service, ergo, we pay for time. And so we are $197 for you to be on our show. So if you want to be on our podcast, realize you will be broadcast to 112 different internet platforms, as well as 64 public radio stations. So up to you whether or not you want to make that call. When you click on it, on the link, you will come to this screen, which will talk about the media kit. You can get on there for free. Here are some of the radio stations that I've been lucky enough to be a part of. And I started my radio career, like I said, in 1982 with KDFM, KOEA-FM, serving the current River Valley with information and entertainment. So that was the beginning. Now I find myself on YouTube and on 64 public radio stations. Kind of neat. The other workshop I want to talk to you about is we're going to have a 5-minute tech tip from Matt Roseman here in just a moment. But because of all the changes that have happened and because all the platforms are being affected, literally every single device that you have is being affected by things, we're going to talk about your personal cybersecurity, not only your computer, but your phone, your tablet, everything at a workshop with Matt Roseman. It is coming on June 18th, 1 p.m. Eastern. Basically, we're going to talk to you about do not, now that from this day forward, promise us that you will not use the autosave feature on Chrome for your passwords. We're having so many hackers be able to hack into people with that. I hear about it, Matt hears about it. That's why we're coming to you with this workshop. We also want you to know, we want to learn from you, what is the security software you're using and is it doing its job? So in the workshop, it's not just us talking to you, it's you sharing with us your screen, showing us what you got so that we can get your computer upgraded. And last, how do you know if you're being phished? These people are getting good. I had one the other day that came to me about, it was a text. And so, yeah, we want to talk to you about what we're seeing so that we can keep you updated. Okay, next steps for you folks. Basic business building. If you have not done this already, now, for those of you who have come to Open Friday Coffee, understand that I'm very passionate about the master contact sheet. Why? This is the foundation of your business. There is a downloadable with a link that has just been, that you may download this. And what I want you to do is I want to take all the contacts in your phone and download them to a CSV file. And you know that hour a week you spend prospecting, call everybody that you know and let them know that you're in business. You're not selling them. You're not telling them anything. You're just checking in with them, warming up your leads, as we like to say. And that's the very first step that you need to take if you're not getting the revenue you want in your business. The master contact list is a CSV file that you can use as a Google Sheet. It can be Excel spreadsheet. It can be Apple numbers. I don't care what software you use, but get everybody that you know down there. Put all your Facebook contacts in second. Put all your LinkedIn contacts third. You will have thousands of names of people that you can reach out to talk to about your business. And there you're not having to spend one dime on ads. It's what we call guerrilla marketing or brute force marketing, because when you're first starting out as a bootstrapping solopreneur, this is needed. So open up your calendar. I want you to schedule your critical 4 hours. You got the downloadable, so you know what 4 hours they are. I want you to assess all your current contacts, put them in a CSV file, and then download that, and if necessary, print it out so that you can start check marking everybody that you contact with that. So I'll be asking you, put in the chat, please. When do you plan to do this? Thank you. Also, for those of you who are authors and publishers, Entrepreneurs HQ does one thing. How do I make money with my book? That is what we teach authors, and that's what we do here. And now, thank you so much for your patience as we ran through that incredible slide deck, trying to let everybody know of all the things that we're doing. Thanks, Mike. Um,
Fun.
without further ado, we usually have a 1-minute tech tip, but Matt's going to need at least more than that. So, Matt, go ahead and give us what's happening in the world of security and why we need to care.
Thanks for that, Janine. Thanks, everybody. It's good to see everybody on here today. Unfortunately, Janine is not so wrong in terms of the whole cybersecurity and what's going on there. Who here has AT&T for their cell phone? By a show of hands.
No.
Okay, I hate to break this to you guys, but AT&T announced today they had a massive breach. Over 100 million accounts got compromised and hacked of AT&T in the past 2 years. I'll put that article in the chat, but if you have AT&T, I definitely would sit there and lock down your accounts. You need help with that, you know who to come to. So what I have to say today is extremely important because we are hitting the next level and stage of not just technology, but computing. And as my froggy friend here would say, this is very riveting. So, what exactly am I referring to? Since Janine took a siesta from Open Friday Coffee, there's been significant changes in technology and the way we're going to use it. So, Microsoft, Google, Apple, all are releasing products that incorporate artificial intelligence into their software. NVIDIA, Qualcomm, who makes the chips in your Android phones, or also the modems in cell phones, the cellular devices in your iPhones, came out also with new chips, AMD and Intel, all chips, all with AI. Who here runs a laptop or your daily driver? Okay, who here gets over 10 hours of battery life on your laptop if you use a battery? Okay, 1 or 2 people. Well, guess what? On Microsoft now, with a Qualcomm chip, you can get over 10 hours of battery using Windows, which is pretty amazing. So that is impressive there. So even Samsung is coming out with new AI. So if you use Windows, AI is coming to that. If you use Mac OS, AI is coming to that. If you use Google or Chrome OS, AI is coming to that. I just bought my first Chromebook after 13 years since the platform came out. That's where I think it's going to go. So all of these different changes are pivotal, because the last shift that we had was back in the 90s when you had like Intel and AMD and companies called VIA or Cyrix or Motorola or IBM. People remember OS2 Warp, back in the day, in the early 90s from IBM. So that was the last stage where all these different chip manufacturers were coming out 30 years ago. And now fast forward into 2020s, this is where we are now. So there's going to be 3 key areas that you're going to want to focus on, because this is all going to affect us. The next wave of technology that you buy, whether you use it for personal use or business use, will sit there and implement that. There's 3 areas that you want to focus on. You want to focus on features, such as what the AI can do for you in terms of automating work, or making your webcam while you're on it look better, or doing tasks for you, or editing pictures and making them look better. Or the next thing is going to be also privacy. How much of this is pulling an ET and phoning home? That's going to be very important to know as well. And what data and what are they collecting about you, and do you have any control over it, more importantly? And the last thing is going to be privacy. So again, these are things that you want to be concerned about going forward. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when, and we are there. You can go to Best Buy now, buy a Copilot PC, and start using their artificial intelligence. And so that is coming out. And so that's why it was so important that I speak about this today, because we are there. And how you pivot is where I come into play to help pull a Hootie and the Blowfish, hold your hand through the process, and make sure that you know what you're getting into for all the positives and negatives. I'll post my information in chat. I'm also put an article there about how AI is driving automation with robots, especially for warehouses and for the automotive field. And that is a very compelling article. You're 17 minutes. I highly recommend you that you look at it, because who knows, it may take somebody's job. So thank you so much for speaking, Jenny. I really appreciate all this. I will see you guys next week. Next week, July. It isn't June, apparently. Which have made a comment there. It was going back in time like Martin McFly. But apparently
Thank you.
we're so,
Thank you
guys, I
so much,
appreciate it.
Matt. I appreciate you. So Matt and I are running a workshop, and Sean, if you would put the link in the chat for me. So we're running that workshop because there was so much. And when Matt got on the phone with me, he talked straight for about 35 minutes, like, and we need to, and I'm like, okay, whoa, whoa, whoa. And so when he started talking about how computing itself has risen up, like, he goes, remember the days? And I said, probably I do. He goes, remember the days? What was the last big, wave in computing? And I said, when the Pentium chip came out. I remember that totally caused everything. And he's like, we're at that level. And so I was like, oh, fabulous. So